Hey friends, welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to talk about budgeting, specifically how to spend your money. We'll talk about saving and everything like that later on, investing, tomorrow money. Today we're going to talk about today money. How do you spend your money wisely and appropriately? So let's get into the theory of it. The way I think about it is today money and tomorrow money, right? So let's say, for example, today you have a cup of water. Once you run out of that water, that's it. No more money left for you to spend this month. And on the flip side, whenever you replenish that water cup, there's a limit. There's only so much you can hold. If not, it's going to overflow, right? Now, in our case, we want that overflow to go into the savings account. We don't want it to go into additional bills and go into the negative, right? So think of overflow that way. So this is a theory. I still use it to this day. The numbers are bigger, obviously, but literally this is the same theory I use. I hope it helps you out as well. So let's get into the nitty-gritty of everything. In this case, number one, housing, right? If you're not living with your parents like I did, you're gonna have rent, you're gonna have utilities. Utilities meaning, in Maryland it's BGE, somewhere else it might be Pepco, whatever. You're gonna have utilities to pay. You might also have to get toilet paper, right? You're gonna have bath tissues, all those things that you have to buy. Those are housing expenses as well, and you're gonna have internet, right? You're probably gonna have to do work, you're gonna have to do homework, you're gonna have to do whatever you want to do when you have friends over or whatever. You're gonna probably need internet. So that has a cost associated with it, right? The next thing is your auto and transportation. You probably have a car. Hopefully you don't have a car loan at this time, but if you do, you have a car loan. Every car needs insurance, right? Every car needs fuel to take you from point A to point B. And unfortunately, every car also has maintenance that's due. You got to get oil changes. Something goes wrong. You got to get filter changes, whatever. You got to pay for these things. So you got to think about the upkeep of the car as well, right? Then you have your own life. You need fuel, right? Food. You need to communicate with people. You're going to need a cell phone. You got stuff to wear. You're going to need clothes. So these are must-haves, right? And then the luxury is the fun. Maybe you want to travel. Maybe you want to go have a gym membership. Maybe if you're into cosmetics, if you're a girl, if you're a guy, hey, I'm not judging. You might want cosmetics, right? I have specific soaps that I use for my face, different soap for my hair, shampoo for my hair, different soap for my body. I'm that guy. I like to have specific things for specific things, So these are the must-haves and kind of luxuries, right? So let's kind of break that down into non-optimized and optimized kind of a budget, okay? So on the non-optimized side, think of housing, okay? Let's say you're renting a small room or whatever, you're paying $500 for rent. Household items might be $50, internet might be $100. I'm not going to go through every little thing on here, but you kind of get the idea, right? So when you combine everything together and break it down into how much it's costing you, and this is what you should do for yourself. In this case, every single month you're spending $2,000, $2,120, right? Now let's think about this. What can you take out? What can you live without to optimize yourself? Because remember, we want to get that glass of water as low as possible, but there's only so low you can go. It's never going to be zero. So in this case, let's optimize it, right? Do you need a gym? Not really. I can do push-ups, I can do pull-ups, I can do, squats at home, bodyweight squats. Get your backpack filled with textbooks, do your thing, right? Travel. Maybe you don't need to buy plane tickets and travel extravagantly during college, right? Maybe you can take like day trips, take your car, take your buddies, whatever. Travel's a big expense, right? Cosmetics, right? I didn't use all these fancy shampoos and fancy soaps and all this nonsense whenever I was in college. I just had whatever my parents had. I just used whatever they had, and I was okay with that, Clothes. Now, you're going to be able to splurge on clothes. Let's not get carried away. But let's say you're not buying clothes every single month. You don't need to, right? When something goes bad, you can buy it, but you don't need to go on a shopping spree for new shirts every single weekend or whatever. You can cut these things out. These are luxuries, right? But then on the flip side of things, there are things that you just can't get rid of. You're gonna have to eat. You're gonna need a cell phone to stay connected with people, right? You might even say a cell phone today is a necessity. What if you get lost? What if you need GPS? What if you need whatever? Cell phone is a necessity these days. On the auto side, the loan. You might not have a loan. I hope you don't. But if you do, generally speaking, in today's day, the average loan amount, the loan payment, it's $450 to $500. Let's say you got $450, you put a little bit of down payment down, whatever. And then fuel, insurance, that's going to vary for you. But when it all comes out, once you cut out the luxuries, your monthly expense is $1,750. That's a big difference. So what does that look like in a 4-year time frame when you're in college, right? That's very important to understand as well. So the takeaways, you can only reduce your expenses so much, right? This is all short term because eventually you're going to get fed up. It's not sustainable, right? For a super, super long time. But there are grind years. You've got to just do it, right? And then you need to grow your overflow by reducing your expenses as much as possible. So when you look at it on a side-by-side scale, let's say you're making 30 grand, that's $2,500 a month. On the left side, over a 4-year period during your college years, you could save $18,240 if you didn't optimize your spending and just lived what I would consider lavishly. Honestly, I would be stressed out because I'm living so tight on my savings. On the other side, if you optimize a little bit and got creative with your spending, $36,000, almost 40 grand, right? Amazing. That's really, really good. And what you're going to do with this is something that's very, I think, important to understand, because I think in today's day, we get so wrapped up in, GameStop is going crazy. I want to invest in that. I got crypto coming up. I got Ethereum. I got Bitcoin, whatever. Focus. This is long term. We want to have that sauce, right? We don't want the juice. We want the sauce. We want to last for a lifetime. So, theory, this is kind of it. You want to save as much as you can, okay? And then how do you use your overflow? If you have a car loan, pay down your debt. If you have credit card balances, pay those off. Create a reserve. What I always recommend, take whatever your lifestyle is, that budget that we looked at on slide 2 or 3 or whatever it was, create a reserve of 12 months so that you can maintain it, God forbid something happens, for an entire year. Likely, you're not going to be out of a job or have income coming in some way for a full 12-month span. But you want to be safe, right? 12-month period, and keep that as just liquid, put it in a separate account. And then the third, and I think the biggest one, people don't think about, when you're thinking about investing, we talk about, 401ks, brokerage accounts, invest in stocks, mutual fund, index funds, whatever. No, invest in yourself, because right out of college, while yes, you just got your degree, so does everybody else. What's going to set you apart? Maybe you can take a course, right? There's Coursera, there's EDX, there's a lot of outside things that you can do. Invest in yourself. I'll even go as far as to say, get a nice suit, Investing in yourself to stand out from the crowd is very, very important, right? And then on the flip side of things, you want to think about, where are you going? Okay, for me, example, I got a business degree, didn't finish it, but the reason I didn't finish it, I was already in banking. I was already doing this, right? I was in banking, I was in finance, and it didn't make sense for me to continue. So what I did was invested all that cash that I was making and saved it into myself. And I learned more and more and more about this stuff, about budgeting, about investing, about lending. I took the time and the necessary courses outside of college. I paid for things outside of college just so that I can make sure that I know what I want to do and I'm going to be best at it, right? So this is kind of what I think overall, pave your own way. Don't be the person that's just spending all your money away. The big thing is, let's go back, take a look. Under $20,000 that you'll save if you don't optimize your spending and don't lower your cost of living by getting rid of luxuries while you're in college. But on the flip side, you're doubling your savings. That's insane. That is absolutely insane. You're going to be 2 years ahead of somebody that didn't have the discipline for the long term, right? Think about that. It's very powerful. I know you will. We're smart people here. If you have any other questions, DM me, message me, leave it in the comments. If you found this helpful, share it with your friends, educate other people. Until then, peace.